Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm going to take you through now how to build the Electric Swan model. First, you're going to want to take the fuselage that comes in your package and one of these strips of two-sided sticky tape. We're going to peel back a piece of the strip, and the easiest way to do this is just keep peeling back the same strip. We don't want to make individual pieces. So we're going to go ahead and attach this very carefully on either side of the bridge that's going to support our main wings, and just tear it off at the edge, pressing it firmly into place. Then repeat that process on the other side. Once again, still peeling it back, the same piece, pressing it firmly into place, ripping off the excess. Now we're going to actually attach our main wings. We're going to separate from the two-sided sticky tape. Make sure that the tape actually stays stuck underneath there. Mine was peeling back a little bit. Peel that off. We're going to take our first wing. Not too critical on this model, but we want to make sure that they get the leading edge forward. That means that this flap cutout is actually going to be toward the back or away from the metal propeller point. You're going to line this up with the center, placing it carefully. Now, make sure you note to your students that they can only do this process once. So they want to line this up perfectly before they squeeze it in place. Once this has been squeezed in place, if we attempt to remove it, it's going to rip the foam and damage the wing. Once we've got the first wing in place, we can use our fingernail to get the second piece of tape started, peeling back. Peel that off, and we're going to attach our second wing. Second wing, once again, we're making sure that the leading edge is forward. This narrow edge obviously is the outside of the wing. I'm going to line the two wings up together, then press it firmly into place. Now the nose and the main wings are all ready to go. We're going to start to build the tail. We can set this aside for now. In your kit comes a long wood dowel stick. This is what we're going to use for our fuselage. To attach to the tail of it is this yellow plastic piece right here that kind of has a T shape right at the back edge of it. The flat bottom edge of this T shape is where we're going to attach the elevator for our aircraft, and this vertical T is where we're going to attach the rudder. We're going to keep using the same two-sided sticky tape that we were using before. We'll start with the elevator, which is the horizontal flat edge of the T. Just going to stick the tape right to our plastic piece there, tear it off right at the edge, then use our fingernail to peel back the second backing. Now on our elevator, we've got some very thin cutouts that show the adjustable flap that's on either side of the elevator. We want the impression of that cutout to be up, and we want the main point here to be forward. We want to make sure these cutouts are on the back of the elevator. Now the back, in this case, is back here, not where the rectangle is that's going to attach to our fuselage. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this, the flap toward the back, and I'm going to use the 2 points here to line this up centered. Make sure you tell your students, don't let this get crooked like this or crooked like that. We want it nice and centered and straight. Put it into place, then press it firmly so it stays attached. Next, we're going to take some tape. Now in this case, it's going to be a little bit easier to attach our tape to the foam wing, the rudder. So we're going to attach to the bottom. The bottom is the longest straight edge that we have here with the point on one side. We're going to take our two-sided sticky tape and attach right along that bottom edge. If it's a little bit long, it's okay. But we want to make sure, I'm actually going to redo that. We want to make sure we're right on the bottom edge. So we've got a good firm attachment point. And then we're going to separate the backing of our tape, which is going to take a little bit more effort because we're attached to the foam and we don't want to peel this back too much. So I'm going to actually cut my tape off here with a box cutter, help separate it a little bit. We're going to peel it back and hopefully get our tape to stay stuck, just like so. Peel off the backing. And now the rudder with the backing is going to attach right to this vertical piece here. Just going to line it up, flush on the bottom, stick it into place, and we can actually use the fuselage to kind of give it a nice firm push there to make sure that that's firmly attached. Now that we've got our tail section finished, we can stick it on the end of the fuselage stick, attach the tail of the fuselage to the main body of the aircraft right in the back. Sometimes this is a little loose. As always, if this is too loose and it pulls out real easily, we're going to take a little of your Scotch tape, attach it around the front of the stick right here, and then insert it. That'll make it plenty tight. Next, we've got our landing gear. The landing gear goes in a tiny little slot that's at the front of this little square on the bottom of your model. You're going to insert that in. It takes a little bit of effort, so tell your students to be patient and try again if they miss a little bit. If the wheels are crooked, like mine were, they've probably missed just one side. Once they get them inserted, that's good. What's helpful about the landing gear on this model is that our propeller is actually one of the most fragile parts of this model, and that's going to keep the propeller off the ground when it lands. The propeller just sticks right over the motor shaft on the front of the plane, like so. And now we're ready for our pre-flight on this model. Now our pre-flight, what we're going to do is we're going to take and do some hand launches to test and see if this model is gliding straight, if it's stalling or diving. A stall is going to be if we throw the model and the nose pitches up steeply after it leaves our hand, loses speed, and then dives toward the ground. A dive, on the other hand, is when it leaves our hand and the nose just pitches down immediately. To adjust for a stall, what we're going to want to do is take these pre-cut flaps in the back of the elevator, and we're going to pitch them up slightly in the tail. We're going to pitch them down to adjust for a stall in the back. And if we've got them pitched down slightly and we toss and we're still stalling, we're going to pitch them down a little bit more. If we've corrected it, we're good to go. If we've got a dive, on the other hand, we're going to take these two flaps in the back of the elevator, we're going to adjust them up slightly on both sides, and then we're going to toss it again. Again, we're not using any electricity until after we've already got the plane trimmed so that it's got a nice straight glide path. Once we've got a nice straight glide path, we can insert the batteries into our charger, and we can charge this model right next to where our power on-off switch is. With the charger, it'll only insert in one direction, and we're going to charge for 30 to 45 seconds only. Now, an important safety issue about this charging model is that these chargers cannot stay plugged in for any long period of time. If they leave this in overnight, or if they leave it in even for 2 minutes, the batteries can begin to heat up and actually melt the plastic casing on this. So it's an important safety issue that your students know only to charge for 30 to 45 seconds, then unplug it. After that, if the motor doesn't run, the batteries are either dead or the motor has been broken. Once they've charged this up, they should be able to push the power switch on it up, and that will start the motor like so, and they can throw the model and launch it with the motor on.